One of the things I never expected to have to learn as a mother was how to bring my baby home after she died. And when I say home, I mean literally home. I wanted Astoria to be buried on our own property, surrounded by the land that's part of our family and our story. I had no idea how complicated that process would become when your baby's born and dies in a hospital in a different state from where you want her final resting place to be. So I want to talk about this because I had to learn it while I was grieving, and I wish someone could have explained it to me beforehand. First, if you know you want a private burial, a green burial, or a burial on private family property, tell the hospital immediately. You don't have to wait till you're ready to leave the hospital. Ask to speak with a social worker, a patient advocate, a bereavement coordinator, or whoever handles fetal death and deposition arrangements. And tell them very clearly, I want to personally arrange the final deposition of my baby. I want a private burial, and I may need her transported across state lines. Those words matter because you want the hospital to understand that you're not asking them to make arrangements for you. You're choosing what happens to your child. The next person you need to talk to is going to be a funeral director. And here's something I learned the hard way. You don't necessarily have to choose a funeral home closest to the hospital. If your baby is being released in one state, but will be buried in another, you need a funeral home in the state where the death occurred to handle the initial release and transportation. And you may also need someone in a destination state to receive the baby and help with the final deposition. So when you're calling funeral homes, don't just ask, how much is a funeral? You need to ask, how do you handle the transportation of fetal remains across state lines? Can you coordinate with a funeral home in another state? Can you release the baby to a funeral home or transport service of our choosing? And most importantly, can you help us arrange a private burial on family property? Because green burial and home burial aren't necessarily the same thing. Green burial is about reducing the environmental impact of the burial. Things like avoiding embalming when appropriate, choosing biodegradable materials, and allowing the body to return naturally to the earth. A private home burial is where the burial takes place, and whether a home burial is legal depends on the state, the local requirements, where the burial will actually happen. So don't assume that just because you own land that you can automatically bury somebody there. Ask your funeral director to help you verify the requirements within the state and local authorities. If you're crossing state lines, ask them specifically what documentation has to travel with your baby. I never imagined that one day I'd be researching burial laws for my own daughter. I never imagined I'd have to figure out how to bring my baby home. But here I am. And if sharing what I learned can make that road a tiny bit easier for another mother, then I will share it. Because we shouldn't have to become experts in death while trying to survive the death of our own child. So if you're considering a green burial, a private burial, or bringing your baby across state lines, ask questions, verify the laws where you live, and don't be afraid to advocate what feels right for your family.